How's it going, Smitley here from thirstgym.com. Today we're going to talk about condensed conjugate training, or more importantly, what do you do if you can't do the conjugate system in 4 days per week like the method is programmed and prescribed via Louis Simmons Westside Barbell. So we're talking about the condensed conjugate method, which would be doing the conjugate method 3 days a week. Let's get started. So as I mentioned, if you struggle to get to the gym 4 days per week, but you still want to do the conjugate method, this is going to be the video for you. We're going to talk about how you can do that method 3 days per week, okay? So the first thing we're going to do is going to be what's called a rotating schedule, or a 3-day schedule rotating, however you kind of want to look at that. So what we're going to do here with our schedule is we're just going to assume that you can train on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Now really these can be any 3 days that you want. Does not really matter, as long as you've got space between the days would be the most ideal, so you can allow for the most optimal recovery between your days. Ideally you would want to do a Monday, Tuesday, Thursday. Could make it work, but I would not recommend that. Try to get some days in between them. And then obviously here, Friday to Monday, you're gonna have 2 days in between, allowing for a lot of recovery as well. So this would be optimal on how to do it. Of course, you could do Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, does not matter there. This is gonna be very simple. So essentially I'm gonna put some numbers here. These are basically gonna be my weeks. Okay, and typically there's 4 weeks in a month, but you might get a 5th week depending on how many days are in that month. Okay, and depending on how you kind of start, on what day you start. But what we're gonna do here is we're gonna rotate through. So the normal conjugate systems have the max effort lower, max effort upper, dynamic effort lower, and dynamic effort upper. And they usually have those spread across the week. I've got videos to all those on my channel. I'll make sure to link those in the description box below so that you can find them. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go through those methods of the day in order. So first day would be max effort lower, max effort upper, and then we would do dynamic effort lower here, come around to the week, and now we're gonna have dynamic effort upper, and then we just rotate through. So we're lower, max effort upper, dynamic effort lower, oh, yep, dynamic effort, almost screwed up there, dynamic effort, and then we're back to max effort again, max effort upper, dynamic effort lower, dynamic effort upper. Okay, I'm gonna leave this 5 blank really quick, but what you can see is we essentially got through 3 weeks. So if I try to like put these together, essentially these are our weeks. That would be week 1, this would be week, so here would be week 1, here would be week 2, here would be week 3. So essentially you're gonna get 3 training weeks out of 4 weeks. Now, I do think this can be pretty optimal for many people, and the best way to probably approach this, because if you're only able to get to the gym 3 days per week, you're probably busy, you're probably stressed, you have a lot of things going on outside of the gym. So this could be a way to mitigate being overtrained, but still using the conjugate system how you need. Now, this is obviously gonna give you 4 days between training, okay? Upper body, so you should come in relatively fresh as well. So I do think this is the optimal way to do it if you have to be in the gym 3 days per week. The pitfalls of this though, when it comes to planning a meet prep cycle, you're gonna have to be very, very diligent and make sure that you do not miss training sessions, because you do not have the room for error to try to make up a session somewhere. Now, so essentially you would want your final training week to be here, okay? And then this would probably be your week, if this was meet week, okay? That's why I kind of left that 5 here. If this is meet week, okay? So we'll say Saturday. This was gonna be the meet, this is gonna be the meet day here underneath Saturday. We obviously would want to have Friday off, right? That's weigh-ins or the day before. You're probably used to having Thursday off, okay? So here you would have max effort max effort lower and max effort upper left. But what you can do essentially at this point is you can make this a lower GPP day, and then you can make this an upper GPP day, okay? And then what you're gonna find here is it's gonna let you take some light lifts accessory work, You're gonna get 2 days off and then go into the meet, and then obviously you're still off here as well. So this would be the best way to look at it, is to find meet week and then work backwards from this 4th week, which is essentially every 3 weeks, okay? So that's how you would calculate that. That would be the easiest way to conduct that from that 3-week cycle. Let's talk about the next option. Okay, we're gonna talk about another option that you have for 3 days a week, or condensed conjugate training. Now, this is going to revolve around taking the methods and mashing them together, okay? So for this 3-day-a-week approach, this is what I've found to like personally. You can take it or leave it. You can change some things. We'll talk about some modifications as well, but this is what I personally like for the 3-day-a-week option. If you can't do the rotating schedule, or you don't want to do the rotating schedule, you want to make sure you're hitting all the methods in 1 week. So what we're going to do here is we're going to keep with our day 1 as the max effort lower method. Our Wednesday is still going to stay with the max effort upper method. And then this is going to be dynamic effort total method, okay? So this is where things are gonna get a little bit crazier. These are gonna stay pretty much the same, okay? You're still gonna have your normal max effort squat, max effort bench, some accessory work. That's all gonna stay the same. Now what's gonna happen, I'm gonna basically blow this up so you can kind of see what's going on here, is that, I'm gonna move this out of the way. So what's gonna happen here is you're gonna have to hit your dynamic effort work across the board. So what that is gonna mean is that you need to do your DE squat. 2, you need to do your DE deadlift. C1 is gonna be, your DE bench press, and then D1, D2, E1, E2. Okay, we're gonna use some supersets here. Essentially what we're gonna do now, you're gonna pick a lower accessory, you're gonna pick an upper accessory, and then you're gonna pick, I don't know, we'll just say arm work, and we'll just say prehab. That's probably better here. So we'll just say prehab and abs. Okay, so this is gonna be a lot of work. Now, what I'm gonna recommend here for your dynamic effort work, because everything is so condensed, here I would only recommend about 8x2 to start and dwindle down to 6x2. Here I would recommend 8x1, dwindle down to 6x1 with your waves. DE bench press is gonna kind of follow the squat. And the reason I say that is because this is a lot of work, okay? You're talking about 10-ish minutes squatting, 5-ish minutes deadlifting, 10-ish minutes here. Here's 25 minutes. You want this to be around an hour, hour and a half at the absolute most, and that gives you the ability to have some accessory work. So let's just say we're gonna have lower body accessory. Let's just say we're gonna do an RDL, an upper body accessory. Let's just say we're gonna do dumbbell bench press, and then prehab, let's just say we're gonna do some face pulls. And then whatever you want to do for abs, I don't really care for this particular video, but you get an idea of what's going to happen. So this is going to take a little bit of time. Do all your lower body work first, move into your speed bench, then pick some accessory exercises that are bang for your buck, okay? What you've not really hit hard on your max effort lower or your max effort upper, so some extra pressing volume, some extra glute and hamstring volume, and then some prehab work, and be done. Now, what this is going to mean is that as you go to your max effort lower and your max effort upper, you've got to be a little bit more diligent on your accessory work, okay? So you got to make sure, I want to kind of make some bullet points here. So the first thing you want to make sure is that your accessory work does not overlap, okay, on max effort to dynamic effort days, okay? So you want to make sure if you do an exercise, let's say a split squat, on your max effort upper day as an accessory exercise, you don't want to do another split squat variation on your dynamic effort day that you have. You're just not going to want to do that. You've already checked that box. So that's where you're going to have to be diligent to figuring out what you need to help for your squat. pick one, maybe two accessory exercises that can help you for your deadlift on that dynamic effort day, and then move on. And same thing with your bench press. You now are probably gonna have to do a little bit more back accessory on your max effort day. So that's gonna be the next bullet point, is you might have to take your back work and do it 3 times per week. So essentially you're gonna have to put some kind of back exercise in every single training program, whether it be the lower body or the upper body day, okay? On your max effort and on your accessory day. That's gonna ensure that you can get enough back volume. And then number 3, the next best thing I'm gonna say is at-home workouts might be one of the best things that you can do, and anything that you can do that's body weight, bands, light dumbbells that you might have sitting at home, anything like that, you might be able to generate a small 15-minute circuit of just light accessory work that you can do on the weekend to not interfere with your main 3 days of training, but at the same time, get some extra blood flow, some extra volume to help you recover for the next following training week. So that's the second option that I have here in terms of being able to adjust to the 3rd-day conjugate system. Let's do the last one. Okay, the third option for your condensed conjugate training is gonna be one that's kind of a combination of the previous two, but we're really gonna condense stuff here, okay? So what we're gonna do, we're gonna stick with our Monday, Wednesday, Friday layout, and essentially each day is gonna start getting pieces. So we're gonna kind of piece this together, okay? So the first thing I'm gonna do for here for my Monday, I'm gonna do my max effort lower movement. So squat, deadlift, whatever that max effort lower movement is. But then I'm also then going to do my dynamic effort upper pressing. Then what's gonna come here is an accessory day, okay? I'll talk about that here in a second. And then what's gonna happen here is you're gonna have your max effort upper, and then you're gonna have your dynamic effort lower after that, okay? Now when it comes to your accessory work, I've got the accessory day here. We're gonna talk about that here in a second. But essentially, since these are kind of the first two things that we want, we wanna make sure that our tertiary exercise, so if this was A1 and this was B1, we want our tertiary exercise to be another lower body exercise. So we'll just say belt squat, just to make this kind of simple. Okay, my D1 exercise is then gonna now move to an upper body exercise. This might be, I like to do my dumbbell pressing with my dynamic effort day. So this might be like an incline dumbbell bench press. And then my E1 is gonna be 2 accessory exercises. Again, I want to try to help something with my max effort lower. I'm probably just going to do reverse hyper here, and then abs. Okay, whatever you kind of want to put there, we'll go to that later. Max effort upper, it's basically going to be the same thing. A1, whatever our main bench press movement is today. B1, dynamic effort lower. Now here's where I'm going to get a little bit more tricky on you. Okay, if I'm using this as a squat, then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this a deadlift, okay? The following week, let's come back to week 2. My max effort lower variation might be a deadlift. Okay, that's probably what I would do, make this a heavy deadlift. This is now going to be a speed squat, okay? So essentially in the week, and the nice thing is it's gonna allow 2 days of rest before I've got a max effort squat again, but at the same time, I'm still hitting squat and deadlift at least once a week. I know that, and this squat shouldn't affect this dynamic deadlift. This dynamic deadlift should not affect my max effort deadlift that comes the week prior. My max effort deadlift might affect my dynamic squat a little bit, but probably not as much as you think it would, okay? So that's what I would go here. Next, C1, we want another big exercise here. So this might be, I don't know, we'll just say a close grip bench press, okay? Basically, this is a supplemental movement. You can use this as a supplemental movement as well. I feel like bench press needs a little more than the squat, but we can talk about that in a different video. And then now we're going back to the lower body, okay? So I had a squat pattern here, deadlift pattern here. If I know I'm gonna deadlift heavy the following day, I might be a little bit cautious on what I'm picking here to help with my deadlift. So we're just gonna say we're gonna do a safety squat bar. Good morning from pins. Okay, and then my E1 exercise and E2. Okay, so essentially I gotta pick an upper body exercise, just like my last video. We're gonna go face pulls and abs. Okay, not anything too crazy here. This is gonna be a pretty decent amount of work. You're gonna bench, you're gonna deadlift, you're gonna bench again, you're gonna do another hinge pattern, face pulls, abs. Now your accessory work's gonna blow out. This is gonna be a catch-all to what we didn't get to, okay? So we'll just kind of run through here what I kind of missed, or what I felt really was kind of lacking. We did have a dumbbell pressing variation here. We did have a pressing variation here. Deadlift. So what I'm probably gonna do is I'm probably just gonna start off with a split squat. And then B1 is gonna go upper body. We're gonna go pull up. C1, gonna go back to lower body, squat based pattern, probably gonna go with a hinge based pattern. So we'll go GHR, and then D1, going back to that. Again, you can notice I'm missing quite a bit of back work here, okay? So here I'm gonna put probably chest supported row, and then my E1 and E2. Okay, we're just gonna pick 2 accessory exercises, both lower and upper body. So I'm gonna put press downs for the upper body, and then lower body, we're just gonna put leg curls. But we'll do leg extensions, since we've already got some glute hammerings, okay? So essentially you can see how this blows out to where I'm kind of making sure I still cover a lot of my boxes that I missed from these 2 days. And then what we do is we go into the next cycle. We would have max effort lower again, where we're gonna have a deadlift variation. We're still gonna keep doing our speed bench press. We're just gonna continue that cycle per usual. And then you can either keep these the same for a couple weeks, you can vary between a week A and week B, as I've talked about in my previous videos. Same thing here. Essentially your max effort upper variation is going to change. Your dynamic effort work's not gonna go to a squat variation. Again, you can keep your supplemental movement the same or change. If this changes, I would probably change this personally, just me. This is a squat variation. I'm probably not gonna do a good morning here. I'm probably gonna pick another variation that's going to probably help my squat. And then I'm probably gonna pick 2 different variations here as well, since that whole day's pretty much already changed. So hopefully that gives you an idea of a third option of how to use the conjugate system for 3 days a week. All right, that wraps up this video on the condensed conjugate training. I gave you 3 options of how you can condense this into 3 days per week. My first suggestion would be look at your training schedule and find out what you think is gonna work best for you. Everybody's got different personality types, different work structures, different intensities that they like to train, they recover different. You're gonna have to find the one that you think works the best for you. But the most important thing here is that you can take the conjugate system and condense it down into 3 days a week and still have it be effective, still make excellent progress, and still improve your squat, your bench press, and your deadlift. I would even argue that if you're somebody that is doing the 4-day-a-week option and you feel like you can never recover or you're doing too much, and if you've tried pulling back and things still aren't working, try a 3-day-a-week option and see if spreading out your training allows more recovery for you. You get that extra day off to recover. See if that maybe helps you as well. But just know that if you can't get to the gym 4 days a week to do a normal conjugate program, 3 days a week is going to work fine. You're just gonna have to be a little bit more picky and choosy on the exercises that you're having, and you have to give a little bit more thought process into how you program and manipulate your variables to help you continue to make progress. Because again, if you're in the gym 25% less, you're gonna have to be more picky on the exercise you're picking, because you're gonna have 25% less work that you're gonna be able to do and choose from, and still make sure that you're not in the gym for over 2 hours. So thanks again for checking in for today's video. Again, there's gonna be more information in the description box below about the conjugate system just in general, so make sure you check those out. Thanks, have a great day.